All right.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome back to
Greetings.
the Coastal Boys. Today we are previewing Fairview Pollytrack on a Wednesday afternoon. Fairview being in Quebec, it is on the Pollytrack, as I've said. All races are around the turn. The lower the draw, the better it is. The small numbers. We kick off. Race 1. Maiden Juvenile Plate over 1,000 meters. 1,200 meters, and the betting is 7 to 10 rules of conduct, 13 to 10 power of peace, 4 to 1 flying skit. Write your own ticket to the rest. It looks a dinkum race in 2. Rules of conduct from the Fairview, and power of peace from the Dean Smith yard. I have to favour, I'm afraid, with the favourite. Not afraid, but I am siding with the favourite. Rules of conduct. Alan Cliff has 3 winners from 6 starters on Friday, where Dean Smith drew a blank, with horses that were quite fancied. That might have been due to the weather. There was quite a lot of rain, wonderful for the gardeners and the farmers, but it did turn a few pieces of form on the head. So for me, 2-runner race, rules of conduct win the first, power of peace probably second, and I cannot see too much improvement from a Rockin' Rio and Prince Agile, so probably Flying Skit third.
I agree totally, Andrew. I mean, I was looking at Alan's podcast with the horses in the background, and the coats look immaculate. I think where all the Creef horses are going to run very big races. So for me, rules of conduct overdue and ready to win.
Next up is race 2. It is a maiden plate over 1,200 meters. The betting is Perfect Impact 6 to 10, 3 to 1 Fantine, 6 to 1 Saloon Girl, 12 to 1 Fonty, 14s and better the rest.
Right. This horse, Perfect Impact, is going to make a big impact tomorrow, and 1,200 Perfect. The Cape Town form should be too strong for Quebec PE, and I think this horse actually should have won in Cape Town. So, and Dean Smith did say he will love the Polly. So he's got a big action. I can't see this horse missing from draw 1. It deserves to be 6 to 10. So without labouring on too much on the other runners and discussing the whole field at length, I think this horse will win and should win well.
Okay. 6 to 10 I thought was a bit skinny. If you're looking back, he's had 2 cracking runs in Cape Town behind Miami Summer and Man of Consequence, where he ran second both starts. First time on the Polly, but the form lines in Cape Town, no winners from 7 starters, no winners from 9 starters, no winners from 11 starters, no winners from 8 starters. Those are his last 4 runs, and horses that were in the same field have subsequently run and underperformed. 3 newcomers in the race. When I say newcomers, I mean new to Quebec. Perfect Impact from Cape Town, Fantine from Cape Town, and Saloon Girl from Cape Town. Generally, horses, when they come from Cape Town, they are quite fit and they put up good racing and good runs. For me, I wouldn't be diving into the 6 to 10 Perfect Impact. Of the top 3 in the market, the one that I want to dish, which I don't really fancy, is Fantine. Richard Faree for Alan Cliff. I didn't think the form in Cape Town was that crack. I found a bit of a lurker for us here. It's number 8, Fonty. Lightly raced from the Jean Nel yard. Ex-Eric Sands has had 1 start on the turf in Port Elizabeth, or Quebec, is now relocating to the Pollytrack. Chad Little was on it last start. He's on it again today. Drawn 5. Stepping up in trip from 1,000 to the 1,200. Passed a few on her last start. And for me, I think she's an improver. And at 12 to 1, you can't get too hurt having a little each-way bet on a Fonte. Of the other, Saloon Girl is the other one that's relocated from Cape Town for the Kelly Mitchley yard. They've done nothing wrong of late either. The blinkers seem to have improved her. She's a 4-year-old Buffalo Bull Cody. And I think she'll also be in the mix. So the one that I'm coppering is Fantine. Every chance the 6 to 10 favourite, Perfect Impact. Well bred. 4-year-old gelding by Danon Platina. Saloon Girl getting the 2.5. Filly's allowance, 2.5 kilograms. So that puts her in the race. But I'm going to be having a sneaky each way on number 8, Fonty. 3-year-old filly, also getting the 2.5 kilograms. Sex allowance. And that's the race for me. We move on to race 3, which is, excuse me, it's a maiden, open maiden, one of your favourites for fillies and mares, over 1,200. The betting is, we have another short one. Even Zateen's Princess, 7 to 2 Alakazam, 5 to 1 Fleur de Vol, 6 to 1 Without Hesitation, 10 to 1 Truly Magical, and Galactic Beauty, 20s and Better Bar. Another one, Zateen's Princess deserves to be favourite, but I wouldn't be jumping in at this price. I think will be a drifter on the day. I think there'll be money for a few others in the race. Zateen's Princess, she's done nothing wrong. She's improved with every start. She did run 7th last start behind South of France, who subsequently came out to win a race in Cape Town. She's bred in the purple out of Kingsman, out of Let Her Rip of Rip van Winkle. She must have cost a chunk at the sales. But as they say, they don't run to their price. They have to put it all together. Again, 4 newbies to the race, to Port Elizabeth, to Kubacha, Truly Magical, Alakazam, Fleur de Vol, all relocating from different provinces to come to Kubacha. As I said, I'm not sure about the even money Zateen's Princess. I think she'll drift. She has an outstanding chance. I'm not a fan of the second favourite, Alakazam. I'm not a fan of the third favourite, Fleur de Vol. The two that I would be having small each way bets on in a race that I think is more open than the betting suggests, it would be Without Hesitation, currently 6 to 1. I can see her starting shorter. She has done well. She's placed both starts on the poly. She ran by an elusive Bomber last start. She's dropping slightly in trip. She runs on well. I think she'll get all the pace she needs. She's carrying 53, MJ Kacheri on board, and I can see a massive run from her. And the other one I'd be having a small each way bet on would be Truly Magical. Muzi Yenny rides for the Kelly Mitchell yard. I'm forgiving her last start on her poly debut. The saddle slip, she got slightly knocked at the start, and I think Muzi probably eased her out of the race. Before that, she ran 2 lengths behind Kentucky Lassie on the turf. Back on the poly today. She was carded to wear blinkers. I believe they've taken the blinkers off, so it might make her more fresh. My main bet would be Without Hesitation, and my saving bet would be on Truly Magical, and I believe they only have to beat Zateen's Princess.
Yeah, that's a good evaluation, Andrew. I'm going to be a little bit unoriginal here. I think Zateen's Princess has got the form to win. Good run to South of France. Dean Smith would be looking to get another winner on the board, and for a big owner. And I think this horse very hard to beat. She's jumping from Stallgate 2, so Craig Zaki will have a positioned with a perfect run into the straight, and I think should be very hard to beat. I'll be surprised if anything can beat her in this field. Alan did say that his horse Alakazam can win, but probably will need this run. So hence, I'm quite strong in the camp of number 3, Zateen's Princess.
Yeah, I have found during the racing that horses that come from Natal are slightly weaker than horses that come from Cape Town. And
Yes.
I see Alakazam comes from Durban, Natal. Has had a couple of runs on the poly, so even though it's slightly different, has been on the poly. But again, as I say, I find that form much weaker than the Cape Town form. Moving on to race 4, our first long-distance race, and probably one of the better races on the day, is a Pinnacle Stakes over 2,000 metres. We only have 5 runners now, as number 5, Home of the Brave, has been taken out. The betting supplied by soccershop.bet. Always first to the market. You can get a decent bet. They price up the earliest of all the competition, and their pricing is very fair. And as I said, you can get a bet when you ask for a wager. 13 to 10 Global Alley, 17 to 10 Golden Piece, 5-2 Fire Rally, 6-1 Bournemouth, 6-1 the outsider of the 5 Makachev.
Thanks for that, Andrew. Yeah, again, a very tricky race, especially over the ground in PE. At first glance, I would say I'm not so crazy on Golden Peace going the trip. I know he has gone 2,000 meters before, but for me, that one will probably be beatable. And I'm leaning towards Global Alley, but not an easy race. Yeah, you'll have to tread cautiously here, as the market suggests, not going to be an easy race. Over to you.
I see it completely different. My best bet of the day, Andrew's Arrow. I like this horse to kill. Number 2, Fire. Jock Stratum, Carl Stratum riding for his father. They ran him over 1,000 meters last time. Straight up to 2,000 meters. They gave him a nice warm-up. Not a bad run, 3 lengths behind cruise control over 1,000 meters. I think will be cherry ripe tomorrow. All the prep is there. Holds a lot of the horses on the Zenovi run. Holds Bournemouth. Beat it, and I think it's a half a kilo for about 3 lengths. Of the rest, again, same as with Golden Peace. Beat Golden Peace last start when they met behind Zenovi. The enigma is Global Alley. He's a 7-year-old gelding. Richard Ferree on board, drawn 1. Richard could dictate the pace or do what he likes. That's Richard, and is the same as the horse. If he's on a running day, he can be anything Global Alley. He can beat the best, but he does sometimes throw in mediocre runs. So I wouldn't be jumping in at the price on Global Alley. A slight negative from a doubt in my mind as well. Does he stay the 2,000 meters? The same. That's why I don't like Golden Peace. And Golden Peace is held. I'm not sure Golden Peace stays as well. I think if there's any danger, Global Alley turns up on the day, that'll be the danger. But I think on current form, I would give Bournemouth a squeak. Loves the 2,000 meters. Has won over the distance. Did disappoint over course and distance, but has only been unplaced 3 times from 10 starts at the course. He's carrying a bit of a welterweight of 62. Depends on the pace and whatever. But I think Bournemouth will be running on at them at the end of the race. And if they could set it up for him. But as I said, I think Fire Rally for me, my best bet of the day. Andrew's Arrows all the way. 5.
Okay. Moving
Which
on
is
to race 6. Sorry,
Oh,
moving on
quick.
to race 5.
Make up your mind. Do you want me to go to 6 or do you stay with 5? Moving on
Let's
to
go
race
5.
5. FM 68 handicap, fillies and mares, over 1,900. Terminal velocity, even money. 6-1 Lana View and Darling Girl. 7-1 La Bomba. 8-1 Sugar Baby Love. And better the rest. A race where terminal velocity deserves to be favourite. Has drifted slightly in the market already, was as short as 9 out to even money, so no real massive drift. A horse that took 15 starts to win his first race, but was ultra consistent. Never missed a place in 10 starts. Never been unplaced on the poly. His win did come on the turf. Next start, he ran again on the turf. She ran again on the turf, excuse me. She ran behind Hollander Bakkeray. She was slow away that day. Calvin Abib Road. He slowly brought her forward, had a good finish, and she finished 4th. She's back on the poly. She's got Richard Ferree in the irons, and I think she deserves to be favourite. But I might be looking elsewhere for a bit of outside value in this race. I wouldn't be jumping in the evens, and I would be looking for a little value elsewhere, but she does have a favourite's chance. I'm not a fan of the second favourite, Lana View, from the Gila yard, and I'm not a favourite, or I don't fancy La Bomba Girl. La Bomba Girl, first time on the poly, Gareth Wright rides for the Dean Smith yard. I'm not sure over the trip. She is well bred, but I think carrying 60, a 3-year-old filly, the same weight as terminal velocity, I think a her rating might be a touch high, a merit rating of 75. I just think she might struggle. So I've taken 25% out of the betting market. So I have to look for value elsewhere. And that would be with number 5, Sugar Baby Love. I'm going to forgive her last start. She disappointed on the turf. She's back on the poly where she won. She beat Missouri Flame. She's drawn 2. I think she will lead. I think she'll run a decent race. I'm not sure if she can beat Terminal Velocity, but those would be my 2 against the field. And if you're looking for a real cockroach, as you would say, currently bottom of the board, second bottom of the board, 20-1. Welsh Starlet from the Jacques Stradom yard. Carl Stradom race for his dad. He has won over course and distance. I've got to, again, the last 2 turf starts have been very bad, but she seems better on the poly. She's had 2 wins and 5 places on the poly. She would be my cockroach, bottom of the trifecta, bottom of the quartet, but I think the race will be between Terminal Velocity and Sugar Baby Love.
Yes, thanks for that synopsis, Andrew. I'm with you on Terminal Velocity. Obviously, the horse to beat. Alan's gone for the blinkers to sharpen the horse up. I just also worry about the fact that she's had so many starts to win a maiden. And then, yes, albeit a good run out of the maidens last time, I would also struggle to see this horse starting even money. In fact, it's already trading bigger than that. So I would say it's probably going to lean towards 15-10 and upwards race time. The horse that I fancy and that I've heard a bit about is this horse called Darling Girl, number 8. So there's been a bit of early interest for this horse at various places. And so I would give this horse a big chance. There must be a reason why the money's come early. And if you look at the form, excellent run there over 1900 meters, 1.5 lengths to spoil yourself. And I think this horse from a decent draw, claiming 1.5 from Nerva Nastili. This horse is a serious runner in this field, especially with a favorite having vulnerabilities. I agree with you. Sugar Baby Love stepping down from the Oaks run, definitely down in class, is a runner, and otherwise not an easy race. And I always can be with you on Welsh Starlet as a bit of a cockroach, but not an easy race. Not a race I would be diving into Terminal Velocity at even money, that's for sure.
Stable companion, Darling Girl, to Welsh Starlet. Interesting.
Yes.
Carrying a low weight of 51.5 because of the Never Still claiming the 1.5. She's beaten Welsh Starlet both starts, the last 2 starts behind Bad Medicine. Nothing wrong, but I always thought she was better on the turf, and I wasn't sure she was a poly horse. But an interesting race. It's Terminal Velocity's race to lose, but there are definitely other runners. Race 7.
Okay.
Let's get there.
6.
Oh, race 6 again. I've jumped the gun. Race 6. It is FM 66 handicap for fillies and mares over 1,600 meters. 3-1 the field. Rocky Blue 3-1. 3-1 Royal Mermaid. 9-2 Lady Luck. 6-1 Colorama. 8-1 Nautical Landing, Ocean Flame. 10s Endeared. 12-1 Oncidium. And bigger prices the last 2.
Right. Thanks, Andrew, for the betting. Soccershop.bet will lay you a strike, thanks to our friend Lance Michael. I've got a lurker for us here on Oncidium. Dean did say in his podcast, which I've just listened to, that he expects this horse to go well on the poly. So there's no reason why she won't act. She's got decent form in Cape Town, run to some, half-decent horses, Beach Verse, Hunger Tonga, Pulverize Apricity. Third run after the rest in PE. Cherry Ripe down in divisions. So I think this horse is a good lurker, claiming 1.5. Tongue tie's been fitted, and every reason to be a decent each-way bet at 10-1. I think it'll start a touch shorter than that. And again, not an easy race. I wouldn't be emptying out on anything, selling the dog or anything of that measure. But that would be my first selection each way in a difficult race.
At the 61 kilos, a 3-year-old filly.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about that. Dean didn't seem too concerned about that in his interview. And the claiming 1.5 off that makes it more reasonable. So I wouldn't be worrying too much about that. To compensate slightly back in trips, it doesn't have to carry it 1,800 meters. So I don't see why. And she cracked a draw, so I don't see why that's a problem.
Fair enough. I mean, the top three in the betting, Rocky Blue, Royal Mermaid, and Lady Luck, have run together a few times. They all ran together last start. And if you ran the race again, you probably get a different result. Royal Mermaid took forever to win. She's done well in PE after relocating from Natal. Same for Lady Luck. She's done well since relocating from Cape Town. Rocky Blue, another one. She's the only one that stayed there. She ran behind horse Colorama, who's in the race again. Colorama holds her on the weight, and that would be my roughie, Colorama. Step up in trip. She won over 1,300 on the Poly last start, flying. I thought that was a very eye-pleasing run. I think the extra 300 meters should suit. She's won 5 times at the course. She's won over course and distance. She's carrying a low weight of 54. The Tara Langyard is in form. Will come from behind, so the draw 5 is not an issue. Of the top 3 in the market, I wasn't sold on Rocky Blue. Drawn 2 has got the services of Richard Ferry on board. Would have a squeak. Lady Luck ran second behind Royal Mermaid. He's held again. Of the top lot, I thought Royal Mermaid would be the horse out of the top 3, but I would be backing Colorama each way in a tricky race. And I can see Considium running a big race for you, hopefully. Just slightly worried about the pudding.
Okay.
I'm getting there.
Moving on to race 7.
It's a merit rated 68 handicap. Back to the sprint trip over 1,000 meters. 5-2 World Pharaoh, bit of money for World Pharaoh. 3-1 Travel Master. 4-1 Iced Marmalade. 9-2 Adia. 6-1 King Rahul. 8-1 B52. You had a few of those in your life, Hilt?
1 or 2, I'm not so sold on them, eh?
They can punish you.
Yeah.
12-1 Mr. Whistle.
Just like the horse, I'm not so sold on B52. It's got more problems than my ex-girlfriend, but must have a chance.
Emphasis on the X. 12-1 Mr. Whistle. A tough race again, reverting back to the sprint trip. World Pharaoh, if you forgive his last 2 starts, I think he's banging the race, has won over course and distance, ran behind T-Rex, same owner last start, and finished 3 lengths behind. Iced Marmalade led from the front last time, drawn 2 again, so probably will lead this grey filly, the non-platina filly. She has scope, she could be anything. Adia, another one that's quite pacey from the Gavin Smith yard, stable companion to Ice Marmalade, drawn 8, but has a big weight of 61.5. On the 1 form line, is very close to World Pharaoh. They ran together. World Pharaoh beat Adia, and I think we'll probably do it again. Of the rest, I don't see too much scope. Cockroach, for me, would be number 9, Mr. Whistle. A stable that likes to find a few roughies. They had Sian the Conqueror last week. They're a bit stiff, ran second. There was quite big money for it, carrying a low weight of 52. Has won at the course, and is maybe trying something different. The distance never placed for 3 runs, but stepping back in trip this 5-year-old gelding, he could be a cockroach. Back ends of Cortex, back ends of Trifectas. But I think the race is in 2. I think it's between Ice Marmalade and World Pharaoh, and I wouldn't be able to split them.
I'm with you near the top of the boards, but unfortunately I'm going World Pharaoh, big run expected, back to the 1,000 meters. Clearly not a 1,200 meter horse. You can see the better runs all over 1,000. So that deserves to be top of the boards, the one to beat, but not an easy race. And then I'm going second one to chase it home or be in the shake-up with it, I should say. With him is Travel Master, way out of his ground last time. Blinkers getting put on, interestingly enough. Alan's putting a few interesting blinker strikes in tomorrow's card. So punters can take note of that. So I think blinkers could be what this horse is looking for. Interestingly, he hasn't had the blinkers on. So blinkers and tongue tie on. So for me, from a draw one on the poly, very, very big runner to chase World Pharaoh home. Yeah, that's the way I see it.
Okay, I mean, if you look at that formula, the T-Rex form line on the 13th of March, we have a horse called B52 that we spoke about earlier. There's Wilhelmina Fourie on board, claiming 4 kilograms now. So she'll be carrying 56, she carried 58. So she's down 2 kilograms. She ran behind. T-Rex is up half a kilogram and ran 4 lengths behind. So on paper, B52 actually holds Travel Master. But as we know, horses don't run on paper, they run on the grass or the poly. So you can do all your studies, but
Yes.
sometimes the form is there, but it doesn't always translate. So on true form, B52, she holds Travel Master, but I think it won't be that tomorrow. But like I said, for me, World Pharaoh and Ice Marmalade. And for you, Bill Squeaker, you like Travel Master, and I thought the Cockroach, as I said earlier, would be number 9, Mr. Whistle, only because the stable's in form and they like to find outsiders. We move on to the lucky last. Hopefully your pockets are full and you're just trying to make a bit of extra profit. The betting, let me go back. It's a next meeting Friday, which we will be previewing next Thursday, again at Quebec, again on the poly. We have a fillies and mares, 72 handicap, over 1,300 meters to close the race meeting. Whirlybird, early money for Whirlybird. Now from 3-1 into 5-2. Genevieve's gone the other way. From 2-1 out to 5-2. 6-1 back for more. 8-1 Dancing in Winter. 9-1 Zolo Zolo. 12-1 and Better the Rest.
Yeah, again, thanks for that, Andrew. Not an easy race to close. Thanks to shockershop.bet for the betting. Very tough race to close as usual, which is normally the case in Quebec. Whirlybird looks to win, but nothing to get to put the rent money on. Blinkers go on again, which weren't on last start. Slightly tricky draw at 7, but excellent first run in Quebec last time. So Whirlybird, I think, will be the one to beat, as the form book tells us on paper. But unfortunately, it's not quite so simple. So we've got to throw in horses like Genevieve back for more. And I would say each way, Dancing Winter's got to have a decent chance. But nothing that I can really sort of tell the guys I expect this horse to go close and improve at a big price or anything like that. Well, a lot of these horses are like big-time battlers, like White Waters, these sort of horses. They're not going to go to Hollywood. So I think the race for me would be the winner will come from the top 4 in the betting in my book.
Enough.
Over to you, Andrew.
On first glance, I wasn't sold on Whirlybird. Then I went back and watched the replay of her last start. She did take off a bit, but she did run behind a horse called Cheerio Baby. I mean, it is her second start in Quebec after relocating. She tried everywhere. She was in Gauteng. She ran in Natal on the poly, 2 starts, unplaced on the poly. She's trying the Fairview poly for the first time. She's drawn 7. She has the services of Craig Zaki, which is a positive. I think he is a top rider. I don't think he is a top rider. I wasn't sold on Whirlybird. I see there's been a bit of money for her. Of the other favourite, they've flip-flopped. Genevieve, Muzieni rides, won over 1,000 metres, ran in the same race. Also ran against Cheerio Baby on the 7th, not the same race, ran on the 7th of November against Cheerio Baby. It's not the same form line. She was a half a length behind that day. Her form in Quebec has been quite solid. But what I know from this horse, I don't think she's a horse that you can trust. And I wouldn't be rushing in to back any of the top 2 in this race. I found 2 lurkers, big prices. You can't get hurt, and I think you'll get a return. The only negative, number 9, the one that I do fancy the most, Jurgen van Heerden, Gareth Wright rides. The only negative is she's drawn 12, which is a terrible draw from the 100 meters. She can run from the front. She has run from behind. They have backed on occasions. When they got the money, they backed in that day over 1,300 meters from 6-1 to 3-1, and she beat a horse called Ruby Claire by 2.5 legs. She's my first pick. If it wasn't for the draw, I'd be putting my head down. I think Gareth Wright might try to get her to the front and the way she likes to run. And the other horse that I've been having a little saver bet on would be number 10, Flower Festival. She's won 3 times, 5 seconds at the course, 2 seconds over course and distance. Chase Marjon rides for the Sharon Cossignon, drawn 5. She does come with baggage. She does not jump sometimes. So your race could be run right at the start. I think she's bigger. She's a better horse than the price shows. And for me, I think I'd be having two each-way bets. Dancing Winter, Flower Festival. And of the top 2, I'm still not sold on Whirly Bird. I'd rather be going for Genevieve with all her problems. And as I say, tough race to end the card. I haven't even mentioned the Griff trained runner with Richard Ferry on board. Drawn 2, carrying 61.5. Ran behind Hot Matera. She steps back in trip, this 5-year-old mare. She's been going over 1,600. If the drop in trip helps, she could be there and thereabouts. But not for me tomorrow. And all I can say is have a good day. Stay safe. Be lucky. And look forward to previewing next Friday's card on Thursday. Thanks, Hilt.
Happy punting.
Hope you have a good one.
Thanks, Andrew. Thanks so much. Happy punting.